Welcome back to CryptosRUs. I'm George. We're all George. So, good morning. Welcome to another market open stream. And there is the market bell. Today, unfortunately, the U.S. market is opening in the red once again. And companies are not immune to the weakening, including Tesla, who was once thought to be recession-proof. That is no longer the case. Tesla's offering steep discounts to draw in buyers. And, of course, it's not just them, right? So let's talk about all these things, recession woes, and, of course, what's going on with Bitcoin and crypto, and the latest with FTX and SBF and his compadres. So let's get started. Welcome, guys. Good morning. You could see yesterday indicated that today was going to be green. Futures market was in green. Right now we're opening up. Well, this has not refreshed, but it looks like we're trying to stay in the red. I don't know who we are, but there are certain people that's selling off right now before Christmas, trying to stop the Christmas rally, right? Again, a lot of recession fears about what's to come in 2023. So one of the big semiconductor giants, Micron, they produce a whole bunch of chips, memory chips, storage devices, and many others. They just announced a 10% staff reduction, suspends bonuses, okay? And I'm hearing that the banks, they're suspending bonuses. Everyone is suspending bonuses and pay raises and reducing staff, right? So, but especially hit hard in the tech sector. As we know, Facebook laid off like 10,000 people, Amazon laid off a whole bunch, and all these companies are laying off left and right. AMC, unfortunately, AMC is plunging this morning, negative 18%. In fact, trading halted. Okay, we're back to the extreme volatility days for AMC, and because they are just doing horrible. They're not doing good at all. So this whole, 2020, 2021 AMC GME pump from Wall Street Bets, that has not really helped them a whole lot. Maybe gave them a little lifeline, but now they are struggling once again. So rumors were that Amazon was going to buy them, but I don't think that's the case anymore because Amazon is actually struggling quite hard themselves right now. So yeah, AMC theaters, Avatar 2 came in soft and Disney got hit hard because of it. They were anticipating a lot more sales and that didn't happen either. And then of course, we got to talk about Tesla. Tesla doubles their discounts on their most popular cars, the 3 and the Y. So they were giving $3,750 to people if they took delivery in December, right? They have now doubled that to $7,500, and they are giving 10,000 of free supercharging miles, right? So there's not that much time to take delivery, but I decided to search, right? And you could see this is Model Y, their most popular car. I have never, ever seen inventory this packed, ever. Like, there are a lot of people that are just not taking delivery or for some reason. Now, there are some people that did that because they're waiting for this new tax incentive to kick in next year, right? So some are waiting for that. But outside of that, I think just a whole lot of people are not buying or taking delivery because they can no longer afford it. I mean, just take a look at this. The cheapest Model Y you can get, right, is $66,000. And this does not include full self-driving. So Model Ys are not that affordable, right? So obviously when people are trying to save, they are trying to, if they're living paycheck to paycheck, of course, they're not going to be able to afford a $1,000 monthly payment, right, on a luxury car like a Tesla. So, yeah, so the very fact that they're offering so much credit and free supercharging miles indicates that, Tesla is not recession proof, is not recession resilient, as Elon Musk once said earlier this year. He was calling that Tesla was just really good. It was growing by leaps and bounds, and it's resilient to recession. But now it seems like that is no longer the case. And it's not just Tesla. Not go single them out. Used car retailer CarMax, I think they are the biggest used car dealer in the United States. They are struggling hard right now. Really, really hard too. Their profits dropped by 86%. Yeah, 86% in quarterly profit drop. That is enormous. So they are struggling. Cars are just not doing so well. People are just not buying cars right now, right? And it's due to recession and due to the fact that a lot of these cars were marked up for so long because of supply chain issues. Dealerships got away with gouging people by jacking up the price, right, to levels they should not be at, to basically new car levels, and some used cars are being sold for over new car levels, right? So they kind of brought it to themselves. I'm not sure if CarMax does that, but I'm pretty sure they do. I'm pretty sure they also do that. So, of course, pissed off a lot of people, too. So that's the latest right now. There's just a lot of recession fears, a lot of FUD about what's coming in 2023, right? And that is sort of why the market is looking pretty weak right now. Pretty weak right now, but we'll see. We'll see if things get better. Things tend to be very fluid, and who knows, maybe later today, tomorrow, and then the last week of this year, maybe it turns out to be really great, and then we'll forget all this. I don't know. I'm just making that up. All right, now moving on. What else is there? Well, Sam Bankman-Fried, everyone's most favorite crypto person, he's going to make a court appearance. And I'm sure he's been grilled by everyone within the last day or so, probably telling him what they're going to charge him with. We're talking about every single agency there is, basically. And this court appearance, basically, it's going to determine whether or not he has entered a plea or and what his bail is going to be at, if there is going to be a bail, right? So that is going to happen today, I think. Today. Yesterday I covered, it was breaking news, came out at night, that Caroline and Gary Wang both entered a plea agreement, right? And this is the reason why, because they want to escape a potential 110-year prison term. So both of them turned on SBF. We don't know what they gave up, what their sentencing will be. But the SEC has charged both in terms of, what they think they've done, right? They think Caroline Ellison inflated FTT's token price on purpose, manipulated a market, and then used that, of course, to buy other things with. And I'll get to something about that in a little bit. And then they think Gary Wang also created this back door that allowed Alameda to siphon all these customer funds. But here's the thing. They have reworded it, or they have worded it, that SBF pressured them to do so, or under the direction of SBF. So with this plea deal, it seems like they're trying to pinpoint everything on SBF, him alone. And that, yes, even though Caroline and Gary did these other things, they did so under the direction of SBF, right? Can they prove that? Or is it just because they got both of them to say, oh, it's SBF, right? So I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen. And is SBF going to plea, or is he go fight this and his lawyers will argue, well, maybe he had nothing to do with that and it was all them, right? Now you get tested. You get tested who your real friends are. Are they really? Is Caroline really? Does she really care about what's going to happen with SBF? Because if they point this solely on him, he will get that 115-year sentence. And he will never see the light of day ever again. So it's interesting. It's interesting. And here's the thing. Here's the kicker, too. He's going to stay at the same prison that Epstein stayed at, too. So you got to think about that as well. All right. Outside of this, what else is going on? Oh, I did mention, inflating FTT tokens price, right, for acquisitions. It turns out Blockfolio, which is actually a very great portfolio tracker, and they have integrated it into FTX. Unfortunately, it's like a FTX kind of portfolio thing now. But it's still, I would argue, it's still a really good, a useful app. But it was bought by FTX using over 90% or 94% was paid for with FTT tokens, which is now worthless, right? So whoever sold to FTX, I don't know if they cashed out. If they did, they're still feeling pretty good. But if they did not and they're holding on FTT, well, then they're probably feeling like an idiot right now. All right. Now, what else is there? Some good stuff about Bitcoin. You have Bill Miller, a legendary Wall Street macro guy, says it's quite remarkable that Bitcoin is still holding at 17K despite the FTX collapse. If you think about it, it is true. If you think about it, it's not just the FTX collapse. You think about how bad this year has been, 2022, and everything that we went through, all the collapses and the macro stuff and the geopolitical stuff, all added together. It's a perfect tsunami of crushing stocks and crypto, right? And despite all that, Bitcoin is still at 17K. And 17K is still like 3x, 4x higher than the low from 2018. So we are much, much higher. If Bitcoin fell down to like 6,000, okay, which of course we don't want, and I don't think it's going to happen. But let's say Bitcoin is at 6,000 right now. I could still make the argument it's 100% higher or double the low of 2018, because 2018 we fell down to 3,000, right? So even if Bitcoin fell down to 6,000, and it was at 6,000 right now, I could still make the argument it's still forming higher lows, and we're still continuing forward. But the fact is, we're not at 6,000. We're at 17,000. That is triple, right, of that 6,000, and way, way, way more x, 6x of the 2018 low, right? That is remarkable if you think about it. Most people won't think that because most people bought, towards the top or much higher, and they're like, oh, I'm just down, 50, 60%, right? So most people won't think this is remarkable. But if you've been in this space for a while, you realize that this is actually quite remarkable. It shows how resilient Bitcoin is because of the holders, because holders are not going away. They know this is tough times, but we get through tough times. Bitcoin always gets through tough times, right? And the fundamentals continue to get stronger. So it is quite remarkable if you just take a second and think about it. But here's good news. Here's the good news. Right now, there's a very close coupling of S&P, NASDAQ, and Bitcoin. But Bitcoin has become the leading indicator. And actually, Bitcoin bottoms out before the S&P 500. So right now, you can see they're pretty in line. They're pretty in line. Okay, S&P 500 actually is more volatile right now than Bitcoin. Bitcoin has kind of been more steady as of recent times. But if you look at before, Bitcoin bottomed out 8 days or 11 days before. It topped out before too. Bitcoin topped out 42 days and 55 days before. So Bitcoin is actually a leading indicator. So if Bitcoin stops going down and is holding a 17 and builds upon here, right? That would mean that this is a bottom indicator, and then S&P 500 and U.S. markets will follow soon afterwards. So think about that. Think about that. Brazil also, the president signs the bill regulating use of Bitcoin as payment. So now it's official. There is a regulatory framework around crypto and allowing merchants to utilize cryptocurrency as a form of payment. So again, adoption is growing. This is part of growing fundamentals. Some people don't believe that. Like, how can you say fundamental is growing? It is. Look at how many countries and merchants that are utilizing the Lightning Network and Bitcoin and cryptocurrency now versus, let's say, just 2 years ago, 3 years ago. Very, 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 very different. Much more adoption these days. All right. And then what else is there? Twitter. Twitter adds crypto and stock price and search results. So again, Elon wants to make Twitter a super app. Super app. So he wants to incentivize you guys to just stay within. So now you don't have to go to CMC. You could just type BTC, dollar BTC, and you'll see the latest price. So that's pretty good. Pretty good. And then this metric shows that interest in Bitcoin actually ballooned in 2022. And what are they talking about? Well, they're talking about Yahoo Finance. Yahoo Finance posted the top trending tickers of 2022, and Bitcoin is right here. It's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8th place, which is pretty impressive. Tesla's number 1. Then you have a couple of indexes. Then you have Apple, Amazon, another index, and then you have Bitcoin. So even the searches for Bitcoin has gone up in 2022. Part of the adoption. So that's good. All right, so the U.S. market, where is it at now? Minus 300, minus 200 for NASDAQ. Today is not a good day. Not a good day. What is this going on here? Bankman-fried execs likely to be freed on bail after FTX fraud pleas. Did they really have a chalkboard like that? Where did they get that picture from? I guess they do have it. They actually created a nice poster here. Yeah, so they're thinking that Gary Wang and Caroline Ellison will receive a $250,000 bail, but they won't be able to leave the United States. Here's the thing. Where did they have $250,000? I mean, how did they have that? I guess maybe their parents. Caroline Ellison's parents are, I think they're pretty wealthy. I don't know about Gary Wayne's parents, but where did they even have that $250,000 bail? Where did they have that stashed, I should say? I don't know. All right, let's do some Q&A. Shout out to everyone on Twitch. 13 users. Nice. Or viewers. When do you think the Gina rally will start? I don't know. And shout out to everyone on Rumble right now, too. Just buy BTC and hold for more than 4 years. Guaranteed recession proof. Well, that is accurate. That is accurate. All right, now scrolling up here, let me see what I missed. OS, BDC, Super Chat, appreciate it. Bradenton, Florida construction site, checking in. Welcome. Time for a pivot. George, I'm afraid BDC will never be above 20K. Well, don't be afraid. Same thing happened when Bitcoin was to 3,000, 5,000, then it hovered around 6,000, then it hovered around 8,000, and people said the same thing. I'm afraid it'll never get to 10K. I'm afraid it'll never get, it'll never break through previous highs. And it has. And it always has. All right, a lot of comments about Caroline that I'm not going to repeat. Let's see. Crypto Stan. What if Bitcoin hit 50K? No. Well, what is the bottom BTC price for miners to survive? It's fluid, Crypto Stan. The difficulty adjusts every 2 weeks. So the worst case scenario is within 2 weeks, let's say difficulty adjusts upwards, and then Bitcoin's price drops dramatically within those 2 weeks. Then they're going to see pain, right? But if it's a slow non-movement week, I don't know. If it's slow downward movement or even non-movement, then the difficulty will adjust down as miners shut off some of their mining rigs and the profitability increases. So that's the beauty of Bitcoin. You're not going to see any prolonged sell-off from the miners or prolonged periods where they just turn off the rigs. It's usually within 2 weeks. That's it. Does the FTX saga even have effects on markets now? I'm not sure it does. I think people just want to know the latest, because everyone has so much hate for him, But I'm starting to feel, I gotta admit, I'm starting to feel a little sorry for SBF because his closest supposed friends, okay, Caroline, who was his ex-girlfriend, and Gary, they're all pointing fingers at him. Right? Like he told us to do this. He was the mastermind behind all this, right? I'm pretty sure he's feeling very, very, very betrayed right now. So I kind of feel a little bit for him because of that. To have the closest ones near you to now turn on you, right? That must suck. Sam has 1 million shares of Robin. Yeah, FTX still holds like 7% of Robinhood. So I don't know what's going to happen there. Do they have to return it? Do they go auction it off? That can't be good for Robinhood itself. So keyword is ex-girlfriend. Never good when there's an X involved. I guess that's true. Mike says, did you hear that Ren token's going under? You need to sell or convert it before it becomes worthless. I saw something about that. I forgot. Either the guy did a rug pull or something. I mean, I think something happened with the Ren. I don't recall exactly what it was, but yes, something about that. What is the market waiting for? I like to know that too. I mean, there's just a lot of fear right now, so I get it. People just don't know what's going to happen. Even though all signs are pointing to better times in 2023, people are still selling off like 2023 is going to get much, much, much worse. In fact, I just saw some videos predicting that January was going to be absolutely the brutalest month we have ever seen. Right? There's so many people that's anticipating, not so many, okay, I take that back. Some people are anticipating come January, things are going to get really, really bad, right? Can it happen? I guess, but I just don't see, unless we have some kind of major catastrophe happen, I don't see how January could be that much worse than December. In fact, we had a pretty horrible December. Economic data is still showing strength. We have some weakness, yes. We have some tech companies, laying off. We have Tesla kind of struggling a little bit, yes. But overall, we haven't seen data that shows we're in deep recession or even depression, nowhere close to those levels, right? And the Fed is starting to pivot. So I don't know. I think the first half of 2023 won't be great, but won't be bad either. And I think second half of 2023 will get really good. So I don't know. PNK says, I'm a criminal defense lawyer. Federal is mostly about flipping, cooperating early to get a reduced sentence. I guess that makes sense. I guess that makes sense. I guess Law and Order is accurate because out of all the episodes I watched before, that's all they do is try to get them to flip. They want to go after the bigger fish, get the smaller guys to flip on the big guy for a reduced sentence. But even though it seems like a reduced sentence is still pretty bad, so I'm pretty sure it's still going to be pretty bad for Caroline and Gary Wang. I'm thinking. Again, I'm no lawyer, but it's indicating that. Robinhood is desperate for cash. They're doing 4% APY for cash holdings and 1% IRM match. Yeah, that's not good. That's not good. What is Robinhood at these days? They're down about 2.5%, 7 billion. 7 billion is still pretty high. Well, higher than I expected for Robinhood. Going back to 2021, at their peak they were at 55. No, they at their high they were at 85, but they closed at 55. Wow, that was a huge drop. Well, they closed at 55, and now they're at $8. Well, they're still worth more than I expected. 7 billion. I thought they would be like a $1 or $2 billion company. Their PE is -5, so they are just bleeding out money right now. Crypto Stan, when are you gonna start streaming about life? Maybe this Saturday I'll start, because I don't think I'm gonna be doing a crypto stream this Saturday or Sunday. I may do a stream on my other channel. If I do, I'll post it on. I'll do a post on CRU so you guys will know. No sympathy for SBF. I get it. I know so many people want to crucify the guy, but, you know, he is so lonely right now. So lonely. I guess if he goes to jail, he's not going to be that lonely. He's going to get a lot of company he probably doesn't want. Musk tanked his own brand, not the Fed. Well, yeah, what's going on with him and Twitter did turn off a whole bunch of people. And people really, even the strongest Tesla advocates have turned against Tesla because of what's happening, right? So, yeah. But, you know, I've never ever seen, like before, I would previously just browse through, you know, inventory. At most, you see like 1 or 2. Right, you just never see this many Ys just there for people to take delivery. Right, that is enormous amount. I'm gonna go to Model 3 here, and let's see if Model 3 is a little bit cheaper, but yeah, there's still a ton of Model 3s also. These are new. This is not even used. These are brand new ones, 2023, waiting to be delivered, right? And you get that $7,500 credit and 10,000 miles of free supercharging. You know, here's the thing about Tesla. It's kind of like the Netflix. I don't compare it to Netflix in a way. I just told my best friend this, and this is how I feel about Tesla. You know, sometimes you have a pioneer that leads, you know, a new segment or new niche or new whatever. And, you know, they become very successful, right? And then competitors come, and competitors may not follow your same lead, right? And sometimes that's a good thing. Like, for example, Netflix, you know, they led the way, obviously, with streaming, right? But then they always said that, okay, we're not going to show ads. We're going to continue to just be ad-free, right? And then we're going to, like, for most of their series, they just release all of it on the same day, which is great because you get to watch everything. You can binge watch your favorite shows within, like, 2 days, right? But here's the thing. The competition's like, you know what? Yeah, we tried to copy them. Didn't work out. Let's try some new things. Let's create a lower tier that has ads, make it more affordable, That worked really well. And when we release shows, let's just do it once per week, like traditional cable, right? That way you force people to stay on the platform longer. That has also worked very well, right? So Netflix was doing well until everyone started doing this, and then they realized, well, they're not doing so well anymore. So they first came out with a lower tier with ads, and then they started doing more of releasing one show per week. Although they haven't completely gone away from that, I think they should, because that's just stupid. You don't want to release all of it at once, then people don't have an incentive to stay on the platform, right? But here's the thing, why I'm saying that. Because Tesla has done a lot of things to lead the way. Direct-to-consumer selling, yes, that's still a big thing, right? But, you know, like certain things like, for example, changing the design of their cars. They have basically made no changes with their exterior look. Unlike all other manufacturers who does a regular refresh or complete overhaul every 4, 5, 6 years, right? You get something new. You get something that gets people excited, right? You can't get excited about Tesla anymore because they all look the same. It doesn't matter if you bought a Model 3 6 years ago versus now. It looks identical. Same thing with a Model Y. It never changes. The new Model X and S, the changes are so subtle, no one notices. So you get a brand new Model S, right? You're feeling good, and you think you're going to get all the stairs. You get none of it because everyone has seen the old S's driving around, right? So that's something I think Tesla needs to change. They need to go on like a 4 or 5 year refresh cycle where they actually change their cars. Otherwise, there's no incentive to really upgrade. Like none whatsoever. I'm just sharing that. That's my personal opinion. Like, you know, once you've seen a Y, you've seen all Ys. And once you've seen 3 or S or X, you've seen all of them. And no one cares anymore because you have seen so many, right? I don't know. That's how I feel. Rather get a Tesla, get a Toyota hybrid. Well, Toyota hybrids are not very good, to be honest. Toyota cars are great, but their hybrid setups are not that good. Not that good. They're kind of slow, and supposedly they're more fuel efficient, but not really. Just slightly better than their gas-powered cars. And they just don't drive well. Tesla don't want you to upgrade. They want to replace gas cars. Yeah, but once you get a Tesla, you have no incentive to upgrade to a newer model. Like almost none. I've owned almost every single Tesla. I had a Model Y a few years ago. I sold it to my best friend, or one of my best friends, and then I got an S, and then I got an X now, right? So like right now for me, there's zero reason to upgrade to any of them. Like I would never buy one again because I already experienced it. I know how they are. I know their pros and weaknesses, but unless there's a major redesign, like there's zero incentive for me to ever buy a Tesla again, right? And that's the thing. For every other car, every 4 or 5 years, maybe 10 years, you get a complete redesign. You're wowed by it. You know, it looks so different, it looks better, it performs better, right? But not with Teslas. RAV4 Prime is pretty good. But that EV driving is only about 40 miles. 40 miles, I think is okay, but in the winter it's going to be less. And a RAV4 Prime is not cheap. RAV4 Prime is like at Tesla levels. You're talking about low 40s to high 40s, closing in at 50 something when it's fully loaded. So RAV4 Prime is not cheap. Rob, that's not true. A 911, look at a 911 GT3. It has changed. It has changed vastly. The new 911 GT3's rear end, the turbo, any of the 911's rear end has changed vastly from even 8 years ago or 10 years ago. And the inside have certainly changed. There's a lot of changes. It has the same silhouette, yes, but it looks very, very, very different. So I don't agree with you there. And Mustangs, yes, they change. The very first retro Mustang versus their Mustang now, yes, it has changed. Challenger has not changed because it's still too new, but they will change. Look at the new EV Challenger. Cal, appreciate that. No Android Auto and Tesla, no Android Auto or Apple CarPlay because they're competitors to Tesla. I think that's the reason why. I need a Hellcat or a 392. They're both good. They're both good. Zero Fortune. Come on now. Come on now. Can't be saying that. Forerunner hasn't changed since 2009. Yeah, the Toyota is the only one that could get away with it, but they're about to. 2024 will be the new redesign of Forerunner. And same day, even the Tundra didn't change for a while. They changed. Toyota trucks, basically, they went like 10 years without unchange. Well, but, you know, Toyota did upgrade at least the color. So every year you get a special wild color, and that at least does something. But Toyota is just different. Don't sleep on Nissans. I'm going to be honest. I don't like Nissans at all. There's nothing in a Nissan lineup that gets me excited. Not one car. Jeff, appreciate it. Man, this chat turned into like a car chat. You know, you guys got to reserve these questions for when I live stream on my other channel. Then we could talk about cars and stuff like that. Doge 256 says green energy campaigns are not sustainable. Only way to make a quick money on any ideological flimsy feels good mentality. I guess. I think I know what you're saying. Yeah, I kind of agree. Twitch. Let's see what's on Twitch. What do you think about Rare? I lost 50K in this crypto journey so far, but I have some meme coins I'm hoping to bloom in the near future. I mean, meme coins generally go down the most and goes down the fastest. Some recover, but a lot never do. So, I don't know what Rare is. How do you feel about gaming cryptos like Gala? Strikingly average. I think Gala will do well. The other ones I have not heard of, but I think Gala will do well because they're a marketplace and there's a lot of games running already. So I like platforms. Honestly, I like platforms like Gala. I think platforms will do well because they're just supporting. They're supporting not only their games but other people's games, right? That's why I like L1s and L2 blockchains because they support the dApps. And when you have dApps, you have users. When you have users, you have liquidity, and you have a lot of growth and excitement. So I like platforms. Do you have an opinion on Bitcoin fraction mining? I don't. There's only like one or two projects I came across that kind of does that. It kind of, you get rewarded in terms of how much hash, like the percentage of hash that you get entitled to. Something like that. I guess it could work. It's just a little complicated. That's all. Man, U.S. market is now starting to dump hard. Minus 450, minus 250. Bitcoin. Bitcoin is still staying strong. 16.6, 16.7. Bitcoin is like a rock these days, right? Just kind of going sideways here. And if you zoom out, more sideways movement. And if you zoom out, more sideways movement. I mean, we've been going sideways ever since the FTX collapsed back in early November, right? Love to see us get back at least to these levels and hover here, 1920K. Love to see us get back there and kind of hover, because we were hovering there for quite some time, since June, right? And this FTX just brought us a little bit lower. If we were just hovering at 19, 20, 21, man, I would say that's a terrific place to be in. But again, it's remarkable to think that Bitcoin is even at these levels, despite what has happened this year with all the crypto collapses, with all the geopolitical stuff, and with all the macro stuff all happening at the same time, right? So Johnny Franco, big super chat. Thank you. Jolamas, the lesson from FTX is centralized exchanges need to be regulated the same way as banks. To operate in the U.S., you're going to need a full org, need to go through regulatory process, not just the U.S. branch. Thoughts? I mean, that's how it already is. It's just that they didn't catch certain things. To have a centralized exchange, like if you're a Coinbase or Binance in the U.S., you're already highly regulated. Now, there's probably holes they didn't look at in terms of FTX.com and Alameda taking money from FTX.US. Like, there were probably processes that were missed. But as a whole, they do need to get audited. They need to get all the licensing from not only like from federal agencies, but also from the state agencies as well. So there'll probably be more of it. I haven't heard of Vulcan Forge. Is Pyre or Pyre? Yeah, it's Pyre. Pyre, is that their chain? I have heard of Vulcan Forge. They're also a gaming platform. Much smaller, though. Much smaller. Is Tesla stock a good buy? Where is Tesla at? Well, AMC is not looking good right now. Where's Tesla today? Tesla's down another 4%, another 52-week low. You can't. Tesla just can't catch a break these days. The way it's going to fall to 100 soon. It just keeps going down and down and down. Their P ratio is still quite high. I mean, that could drop to the 20s and still not be unreasonable, because Apple and Microsoft is in the 20s, right? But still, this has been brutal for Tesla holders. Rivian, will they go bankrupt soon? I think so. I've been getting emails from Rivian because I placed the order, the most expensive Rivian they have, and then they said, "Oh, you're not gonna get it for until 2024." I'm like, "Okay, WTF?" And then they sent me a list, like an email to a private store where you can access all these Rivian trucks, and that list is growing like crazy too. No one wants to take delivery right now. No one wants to pay $70,000 plus for a Rivian truck. And they are no Tesla. So Rivian and Lucid, most likely both will go bankrupt in 2023. They just don't have enough. They can't produce enough. And if people are not buying expensive cars, they're going to go under. Rivian, the only thing about Rivian is they have Amazon on their side. Amazon invests in Rivian, and they're going to come out with all these electric Amazon trucks. So maybe that saves them. But as for Lucid, I don't know what Lucid has. Like, they're just producing sedans, and no one wants sedans these days. Everyone wants SUVs. So I don't even know what Lucid is doing. Hey, we got 19 people on Twitch now. 54 on Rumble here. Doge, yes, I am seeing this. All right, guys. This is a new chair, Sean. The new chair. All right, well, let's conclude. Overall, recession woes continue. Today's market is not looking good. Not looking good at all. You got a lot of layoffs, a lot of unsold inventory, and we have more FTX drama. But here's the thing. Just keep in mind, even at current levels, it's quite remarkable. Bitcoin is still where it's at, and the fundamentals of Bitcoin continues to get stronger. So do not give up. Stay strong, my friends, and I'll see you guys tonight, 8:30 p.m. Central Standard Time. All right, have a good one, guys. Take care. Oh, by the way, if you guys are interested in the Tesla, I have a coupon code for you, right? But in addition to that 7,500, here's something else in case you wanted to pick up a Tesla.
What do you think about Ripple?
Well, I mean, I think it's too centralized, but I definitely want to meet Chris Larson.